Hi, we're back with the fifth week of the devotional series for the Agon Sports Ministry Institute. Again, I'm Chris Levette, and this is Dr. Greg Linville, the course leader. And we're back with you to further our look into this passage in 1 Corinthians.
Chris, let's catch up. Week one, we talked about that we need to really be focused, grabbing hold of. The second one, we talked about how do we choose people and that our role is to pass this thing on. We got interrupted by our comrade, Tim Conrad, in week three that we're kind of co-teaching the course with. And Tim is our president of the Agon Institute. I serve as the dean. We both are professors. And then last time we started in our passage in 1 Corinthians 9 that Paul was inspired by the Holy Spirit to write to these Corinthian people who lived in the very center of Greek sports. They actually had the office there. And within just a few miles in two different directions of where Paul and Timothy served and others served, Silas was there with him as well, were two of the four what was called Pan-Hellenic games. Pan meaning all, Hellenic meaning of the Greek culture. So the four games were the Isthmian games that were right there because it was on the isthmus. Corinth was just off the isthmus of Greece. The Olympic games, of course, that were down on the Peloponnesian Peninsula. And then you've got two others, one being very close, the Nemean games, very close to Corinth, and of course then the Delphi games. Two of these four Pan-Hellenic games were within a day's walk of where Paul was at. And so the Corinthians would really understand this athletic passage. And through our coursework with the Agon Institute, we are helping you understand that all of the Greek words and all the passages about competition and sport are going to come to you. So we talked last time that how do we reach people? We try to become like them. We try to get with them. We try to do all these things. Sports is a great vehicle. And then verse 24, we talked about that runners run to get a prize. And so we talked a little bit about that word for stadium comes out of there. The word for running comes out of there. And then that word for prize we talked about a couple weeks ago is that same word. And that is the prize, meaning the prize that the referee is going to hand to you at the end of your winning that race. Now in verse 25, it says, every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath. We do it to receive an imperishable. Now there's a few other words here that are athletic. When it says that every athlete exercises self-control or strives, if you will, this word is the word in our English language that has often been communicated as agony, meaning the agony of defeat or the agony that you feel in the body. It comes from this Greek word agon. The Greek word agon is the word that describes the athletic experience, the athletic struggle, the athletic, when I meet on the court and somebody is coming to defend me. Everybody right now is trying to defend LeBron James. Well, he would say nobody can. Yeah. But obviously some do a better job than others. And that's what this agon is. It doesn't have as much to do with pain as it does to do with the struggle that the athlete would feel. And so what Paul has been inspired by the Holy Spirit to write is that these athletes are striving for all these things that are within their control. And if you don't understand what I'm doing right now, is that I've got an English version of the Bible here, but I've also got a Greek version of the Bible. And so as we look at this in the Greek, it talks about that in this athletic struggle, they do it to do what? To receive it says a corruptible, meaning something that fades away, crown. And the Greek word there is Stephanon. So if your name is Stephen or Stephanie, Steve, it would mean that you were the crowned one. You were the one that won the athletic competition in Corinth, and they put this crown on you. It was a crown that was given to every athlete who won. Now, Chris, in our culture in America, every Christmas, my wife gets what's called a garland. It's a wreath or a long rope made out of pine boughs.
Yeah.
And we put it up on our house, put it up over the door, put it on the mantle, wherever we do. And within 2 or 3 weeks, the leaves, the little pine needles, are falling all over the place.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that Paul is trying to say. These athletes, for the Corinthian games, they had the Corinthian games every other year. And they had to strive for 2 years to compete. And what did they win?
A perishable wreath.
Absolutely.
Made of leaves that was going to be gone in 2 weeks.
And at some points, it was even a pine wreath, but often in the Isthmian games, it was those athletes would win celery. I didn't say salary. They didn't get money. They got this vegetable. Now, have you ever had celery?
I have.
And usually, if it's good, it's crisp, right?
Yeah.
How could you weave that into a crown unless it was maybe not so good?
Yeah.
This is what they were winning. Do you get the sense of perishable? Do you get the sense of perishable? Chris, you've won some awards from your outstanding career. Where are they at today?
Some of them I don't even know. Others I've been a little bit more meaningful. I have them on a wall in my room or in my office at home or something. But oftentimes I don't even think about it. Like until someone like you brings it up, it's like, oh yeah, I did that like 10 years ago. But those things come and go so quickly, and it's. Again, as we talked about last time, Paul meeting these people where they were at in an analogy that they could understand, and explaining to them that this is something that's going to be here and be gone tomorrow, but our faith in Jesus and our relationship there is something that's going to last for eternity. And that's the race that we ultimately want to win, and that we want the people that we're ministering to win as well.
Absolutely. And so as a sports ministry student, as someone who is trying to learn these things so that you can, as we talked about, pass this on, the reproducing reproducers, you are going after an imperishable crown, a non-corruptible crown, a crown that is not going to drop pine needles all along the floor as you throw it out after your Christmas celebration. Your crown is going to last forever. And Chris, there's an interesting thing that we'll talk about more later about the crown. Do you remember in Revelation what happens with the crowns? We cast them at the feet of Jesus. And that the crowns are people. The crowns are people. And so your imperishable crowns, Mr. or Mrs. Sports person, Miss or Mr. Sports person, sports minister, the crown doesn't have anything to do with this big trophy. The crown that you'll be able to present to Jesus is a person. How are we doing? How are you doing in ministry? If you're in ministry for any other reason than to bring people to Jesus Christ, I think you're falling a little short. If you are there to try to influence people for Jesus so that they can be your crown, imperishable, eternal, that's what we do it for. So Chris, as we complete this 25th verse in this passage, we've got 2 more to go that we'll come back to the next 2 times. But devotionally, everybody runs. They do it to get that perishable crown. We do it to reach people for Jesus, to have the eternal crown.
Yeah. And I don't think that can be overstated in the world that we live in, specifically in the United States. there's so many things to focus on and to buy and to have that aren't going to last. And sometimes it can be really difficult to be able to actually focus on the fact that there is an eternity and there is that crown that we should be going for. So I guess I would encourage you to just take some time and actually really spend some time with God in prayer and stuff on these verses, and try to really let them soak in, so that ultimately they can flow out of you and you can be as impactful for the gospel as possible.
See you next time.